Good morning, students. This is your fifth module of elasticity of demand. In the last modules, we have covered the methods measuring price elasticity of demand. That is the total expenditure method, the percentage method, and the geometric method. Today, we are going to deal with the topic factors that affect price elasticity of demand, or in other words, the determinants of price elasticity of demand. In exam, students get confused between two concepts. One is determinants of demand and one is determinants of price elasticity of demand. There is a huge difference between the two. In the topic determinants of demand, you deal with topics like price of the commodity, okay, price of related goods, income of the consumer, how do they affect demand. This is what we studied in determinants of demand. But in factors affecting price elasticity of demand, what we study is that yes, these factors do change the demand, but what is the extent of change? The elasticity of demand concept measures the extent of change. How much change? Kitna change? Zyada change ya come change? It measures the extent of change. Okay, so these are the points we'll be doing today. Availability of substitutes, nature of the commodity, proportion of income spent, time factor, number of uses of a commodity, and habits of the consumer. We move on to the first point, that is availability of substitutes. How does availability of substitutes affect price elasticity of demand? What will be the extent of change? How much change will be there because of substitutes? Okay, a commodity will with close substitutes have elastic demand. It means that the commodity having very close substitutes, the change of the demand will be very high. There will be a lot of change in demand. And commodities with weak substitutes have inelastic demand. The commodities having weak or no substitutes, the demand for such commodities will not change much. The demand will not change, or the change will be very less. They have taken the example of Pepsi and Coke. Pepsi and Coke are said to be perfect substitutes. Okay, if people are not getting Coke, they will get Pepsi. They are perfect substitutes. So we take the example, when price of Pepsi falls, it means the Pepsi price has fell down. Okay, a large number of consumers will shift from Coke to Pepsi. Because the price of Pepsi fell down, people having Coke will move to Pepsi. There will be a large increase in demand of Pepsi because of fall in price of Pepsi. Pepsi price falls, people from Coke shift to Pepsi, there will be a large increase in demand. Why? Because Coke and Pepsi are perfect substitutes. There are close substitutes for that product. So the change of demand will be very high. A large change will be there. And in case of some medicines, okay, a particular medicine of sugar that a patient is having, okay, those medicines do not have substitutes. So in that case, the demand will be inelastic. There will not be much change. Okay, if the price of such medicine rises also or falls also, there won't be much change. Coming to the nature of the commodity point, there are three types of commodities: necessity, comfort, and luxury. The demand for necessities like food item is inelastic because they are essential for existence. The price of food items may increase, the price of food items may decrease. The demand will not change because the demand for such commodities is inelastic. They are essential for existence. You will not stop having food if the price rises or falls. So the demand for food items is inelastic. On the other hand, the demand for comfort and luxury is more elastic because consumption of such goods can be postponed. What happens in cases of comfort and luxury? Suppose we take example of an air conditioner. Okay, people wait for the price of air conditioner to fall. People wait for the price of air conditioner to fall so that they are going to demand it much more. Okay, so these commodities have more elastic demand. A small fall in price of air conditioner will lead to large increase in demand for air conditioner. The consumption of such goods can be postponed. That is why the demand for comfort and luxury is more elastic. If there is a small fall in the price of air conditioner, there is a large increase in demand of air conditioner. People wait for such commodities to be available at lower prices. This is why the demand is more elastic, and more elastic means there will be large change. Please look at this diagram. Necessities have inelastic demand. It means there won't be much change. Comfort and luxury have elastic demand. Means there will be large change. Moving on to the next one, proportion of income spent. Okay, demand for commodities like soap, matchboxes, salt. In this commodities, there is a very small proportion of income that is spent on such commodities. Okay, so the demand is inelastic. The demand won't change much, because if the price of soap increases a bit or decreases a bit, the consumption of soap or the usage of soap will remain the same. In the same manner is the case of salt, right? Salt also, if the price falls or if the price increases, the demand won't change much. There will be very less change in demand. So the demand is inelastic. Why? Because people spend a very small proportion of income on such goods. Okay, and in case of commodities like furniture or clothes, the demand is elastic because consumers spends a large proportion of income. They wait for the price of clothes or the furniture to fall, so that there will be huge increase in demand for such commodities. Okay, they wait because this furniture, clothes, or any luxury items, these acquire a lot of proportion of money income. Okay, so for such commodities, consumers wait that when the price will fall, we will increase the consumption too much. Okay, so smaller proportion of income has inelastic demand and large proportion of income has elastic demand. They wait for the price to fall so that they can increase the demand for such goods. We come to time factor. Okay, in short run, generally the demand is inelastic, means much change is not there, and in long run the demand is more elastic. It means a lot of change is there. Again, I am telling you the meaning of elastic and inelastic. Inelastic means no change or less change. Elastic means much change. So in short period, consumers will take a time to adjust to their habits. They have become habituated to some product and it will take some time for them to change their habits. So they will keep on consuming the goods they are consuming and the demand will be inelastic. But on the other hand, in long run, new substitutes or the perfect substitutes may develop, close substitutes of the product may develop, and the consumers may shift to the other substitutes. So the demand will be more elastic, right? If some other substitute product is easily available at a lower price, people will immediately change the demand to the lower priced products. In long run, when new product has come with a lower price, they will shift their consumption to the new product. So the demand will be more elastic in the long run. We move on to the next concept, number of uses of a commodity. We have been doing this point again and again. The greater is the number of uses of a commodity, the greater will be the elasticity of demand. For example, electricity is an example of a good that can be used for various purposes. Okay, electricity can be used for lighting, cooking, heating, all these are the purposes. Okay, lighting is the most important purpose of electricity, and cooking and heating are other purposes. Okay, lighting is the most important purpose and cooking and heating is the other purposes. So when the electricity is very expensive, it will be only used for lighting. That is the most important purpose. Only used for lighting. But when the price of electricity will fall, okay, when the price of electricity will fall, it will be used for less important purposes like cooking and heating also. Okay, when the price falls, the demand will change very dynamically. Why? Because when the price falls of the electricity, it will be used for less important purposes and the demand will be more elastic. Price of electricity falls, demand increases immensely, so it is more elastic. Demand will be more elastic. It means there is huge increase in demand due to fall in price of electricity. Now, moving on to the point, habits of the consumer. Okay, now we take the example here. Diabetic patients are, habituated to insulin. Okay, so what will happen? The price of insulin may decrease, the price of insulin may increase, the demand will not change, or in other words, the demand will be inelastic. The term inelastic means less change or no change. Okay, so what will happen if a person is habituated to insulin? The price of the medicine may increase or decrease, but the consumption will not change, or the demand will not change. So if consumers are habitual of consuming some commodities, they will consume these even at higher prices. They have given an example: a smoker does not reduce the number of cigarettes even if the price of cigarette goes up. If a person is habituated to smoking, he will not give up the number of cigarettes even if the price of cigarette goes up. So demand for such commodities for which there is a habit of the consumer will be inelastic. No change will be there. Thank you, students.